This work is entitled Untitled Without a Rival, and it is part of an installation of 8 works, all of which are these large-scale black and white photographs, which the artist has then intervened upon with regular straight pens and regular sewing thread. So as is his custom, he has, for years, he has gone around Havana taking images of the streets and of storefronts. He goes out very early in the morning and has taken these images of old storefronts in Havana. And this one is some kind of a, I don't know if it's a movie theater or a gift shop or some kind of a store. But in all of these pieces, he's taken the idea of the title and then written a kind of haiku about them. These, I'm using words from my co-curator, Corina Matamoros in Cuba, who called these little sentences or these little poems street haiku, which I think is a very charming way to mention them, to call them. Basically, it calls up the idea of Carlos the artist walking through the city and leaving his mark on the city in a kind of ephemeral way. I also like the way that he's taken these images of architecture, which are so solid and so there, and inscribed upon them these very, very fragile pens and thread. By the way, when these were shipped from Havana, I was terrified that they would be messed up and they would come and all the strings would be hanging during the shipping, but they came over very, very well. But to get back to the idea of the fragility and the permanence, or the fragility and the sort of enormity or grandness of the architecture, I think what's also very interesting about these is when you're away from these pieces, you don't really notice that they've been intervened upon. When you get to about where I am now, you can start to see them. And this says, sin miedo, without fear, without a rival. I've lived, I'll die without a rival. So you can see what it means, but when you get even closer, what I think is really interesting, and look at them, look at just the pens and just the thread, the pens themselves and the architecture themselves, and the threads themselves take on an architectural presence that sort of inscribes themselves upon the image. The grand design of the black and white images kind of dissolves, and there the intervention of these pens and threads really becomes an entity in themselves and almost looks like another city or another idea for the city inscribed upon the city.